Hi, friends. In our time together today, I'm going to share a list of skills that, if we focus on developing these skills, they provide the solid foundation on which we can grow and improve as low and high whistle players. Yes, I've not mentioned the key because it's just across the range. There's a set of skills that if we grow in them, that we will grow in playing our whistles. And I'm going to share the short list. You could add more to it, but this is just the list I'm giving us today. And then I'll make some comments on each. Interestingly, the very best way to learn and grow at the end of the day is by picking up your whistle, and this is my Howard, my go-to, and just playing. Pick it up and play and play and play. I say that's the best way, but I also need to add that there are drawbacks to doing that. What if you pick up your whistle and you only play one type of tune? Well, then you're hardly going to be able to play another type of tune. What if you only ever play one whistle? Someone hands you another whistle because you wanted to play a high whistle, that you're going to have trouble there, and that's less important. You play one type of tune, and then when you want to emote another type of tune, you're not really sure how to do it because you've not focused on that skill. So yes, playing is great, and it is part of the foundation. And it's what you do. It's actually what you do with the foundation, but we still need to work on that baseline set of skills. And I say something to that effect whenever I talk about scale exercises. You may be tired of hearing it, but it's so important, my friends. So I'll share a list of foundational skills every one of us needs to pay attention to and grow in, because if we nail those, then we will grow rapidly and more than we could by just playing alone without focusing on the skills. And so we'll become better musicians overall. So now these items are in no particular order. As a matter of fact, I didn't even put them so that they feel like they go together. And I've got a point with that in a moment. So here are, I wouldn't say every foundational item for skills in playing the tin whistle, but a lot of them. Breath control, hole coverage, tone quality, ornamentation, expression, dexterity and speed, skills relating to a specific tune type, and volume. Just 8 things. If you focus on these 8 things and develop them as your foundation, you will be, over time, because growth doesn't come rapidly all the time, over time you will be the best musician you can be. And you'll find also that as you focus on each of them, it's not a linear growth. You'll find it like this. You're going upwards, but you're circling back to each of these things. So you don't just pay attention to breath control once and say, oh, I got that nailed. And you don't pay attention to ornamentation once and say, I'm done. You come back and you work on it again and again. You do some breath control, hole coverage, tone quality, ornamentation, and you come back and you repeat all of those and you go up and up and up. So anyway, sure, we could add some things to the list. And but I should say, if you think of something that you think's like, oh man, one of the key foundational skills he should have stuck in that I want Scott to talk about, or I want to talk about, put that in the comments to the video, because I didn't strike this list with a golden hammer and and it's perfect. Of course, there are more things. And everything, uh, one of the comments that I said I wanted to wait till after the list is these all fit together. Just like I said, you begin by playing and then you work on all those things. It doesn't really matter what order you work on them. It doesn't matter if you start with tone quality or breath control or whole coverage. You're going to have to work on all of them. You work on all of them and they help, and you'll find that these things are woven and knit together as a single piece of the foundation. And that's important to know. That's why you work on each of them and you start thinking about how they relate to and support each other. So, a few comments on each. Breath control first. This is a huge topic, and I may need to end up spending a single video or more on each of them, and we'll see. And I have made a lot of comments on them, but I want us to realize how these marry together and how each are important skills to focus on to make you and me better musicians. Breath control, it's a big topic. Breath control includes learning when and how to breathe. This is really important. And if you've ever tried to play a fast tune or emotionally play a slow tune, you're like, I got to figure out when to breathe. And breathing becomes almost part of your ornamentation, as we've said before. But breath control also is a way to teach us to learn to play phrasings better so that you're not gasping for air and losing your ability to play. And even more, breath control is one of the important parts of tone quality and volume quality, or volume control. Play any particular note, and this varies on one whistle to another. If I played randomly an A on my Howard, I'm playing the note, but depending upon how I'm controlling my breath, the breath pressure, my breath control depends upon whether I'm in tune, out of tune, volume, all that goes together. I can overblow it and it goes sharp, underblow it, it goes flat. So there's a particular area where you listen and play and maybe tighten your lips a little and focus your breath and get the right amount of air to get the right tone at the right volume. Breath control is huge. You're going to work on breath control for a long time. Whole coverage. Now, you might think that whole coverage is just a thing on a low whistle. And I could have my Howard with close finger spacing and my fingers would be there. But you're going to have to figure out whole coverage. Remember that whole conversation on a low whistle about piper's grip, not using the piper's grip. Use the grip that enables you to ornament, that enables you to play with dexterity. If you're not covering the holes, well, it sounds bad. It's also important to think about with a high whistle. This is the Shush Pro. This is the Kelly Busker high D. They hardly look like the same whistle, but they're both high Ds. And the whole coverage is very different on each of them. So with every whistle, you're going to have to learn whole coverage because so much depends upon good whole coverage. Tone quality. As you play, listen, listen, listen. Make fine adjustments to make sure it sounds good. And tone quality is the result of paying attention to a lot of these other factors, but tone quality is a thing in and of itself. Ornamentation. Sure, you learn the basics of playing, a cut, a tap, cran, a roll, vibrato. a slide, all those things and more. You learn all that. But when do you use it? What sounds good in what tune? This is a great time for imitating other people. But even as you imitate other people, you don't want to be a parrot. You need to develop that skill so that as you're playing a tune, you're like, ooh, I feel like this would be fun. You almost want this to be a natural reaction. You want your ornamentation to flow like the notes, to just come out of your fingers. And that requires a lot of skill and focus. Expression. I put ornamentation and expression together very often, as you know. And we learn to play the whistle well, we learn ornamentation, but how do you emote when playing the whistle? How do you play a thoughtful song so that it sounds thoughtful? How do you play a mournful song so that it aches? How do you play a happy tune so people want to dance? Expression is important too. We work on that skill. Dexterity and speed. Dexterity is not just speed, but dexterity includes speed. So if you're jumping, like if you're going from a B to a C natural to an E to a C natural, that takes a lot of dexterity, and it's the same problem with a slow tune as a fast. And all the notes require that. But then you also need to learn to do those note transitions quickly. So dexterity and speed and hole coverage and tone quality, they're connected. They're all integrally connected in your foundation. In addition to this, there are skills related to playing particular types of rhythms. I include this as a topic, as part of our foundation, because if you start off learning to play marches on the whistle, which a lot of people do, you're then going to get to a jig or a reel, and you're going to slam into a brick wall. Those are different skill sets. That tune type is a different skill set than a march or a hornpipe or a slip jig. Or polka. All these are different. You need to learn the rhythm, the cadence, the tone style of each of these so that when you start playing a polka, you're like, I know this rhythm. I've got this rhythm in my hands, in my brain. My feet start doing something while I'm playing this. It's part of that foundation. Volume. Volume is also part of the foundation. Again, every whistle's a little different. This is a good point to say that. I just grabbed these two high Ds because they're sitting here. The volume on the shush high D and the volume on the busker high D, the breath pressure on the shush, the breath pressure on the busker, they are radically different beasts. And volume is connected to tone quality. Volume is connected to where you're playing. Volume is connected to expression. Whew, so much. These are all tied together. Anyway, that's enough comments for now. Remember, foundational skills are very important to develop. Breath control, hole coverage, tone quality, ornamentation, expression, dexterity and speed, skills related to specific tune types, and volume. I and others talk about these. When we pull these out, we don't mean that they are separate skills that don't relate to other skills. We mean this is part of the foundation you need to work on. And as you work on it, it's going to connect to all the other parts of the foundation. As you grow your foundation, you raise the ceiling to which you could become a better musician. You will become the more you develop this foundational skills, the better musician you can be. And I'm saying this to remind myself, to make sure I don't get stuck in a rut. Don't get stuck in a rut, my friends. Develop your whole foundation. Work on a broad range of tunes and a broad range of skills. And as you're working on your foundation, play, play, play. Because in playing, you identify those skills that you need to develop further from your foundation so that you can grow even more. You start, you work, you grow, and it's just exciting. It's so much fun. I love it when I feel like I'm playing better. Don't you? Work on the foundation. Until next time, my friends, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling.